What's up, everybody? It's that time of night again. It's Wednesday night. Kirb and Hort's Wednesday night sports. I'm Terrence Horton here with my good friend Donald Kirby. How you been, man?
Good, my man. How you been doing?
I can't complain at all, man. Enjoying this great holiday season with
Oh
finally
yeah.
something to have cheer about.
Oh yeah.
As we're going into the uh, like we always do every time, we're gonna start off with my old Kentucky home.
Stokely and Megan Gregory are no strangers to the Red Barn radio stage, and they're here to help us celebrate an Appalachian Christmas. The local honeys.
Thank you very much. We are the local honeys. We're based in Morehead, Kentucky.
Morehead, Kentucky.
We're really happy to be with you. We thought we'd pay homage to Kentucky and play our state song.
If you guys want to give a chance to share and like, and we'll be in the comment section. And say this is Kirb and Hort's Wednesday night sports every Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Introduce our guest, our good friend Megan.
Fun time for a good hour.
Play with us on this wonderful program.
Get to the singing, ladies.
She's a good old girl from Alabama.
1, 2, or 3. It gets better and better every week. Some people are like, no, it's done. Just get to talking trash to each other.
Yes. I love it.
The coloreds are gay. What is this? Really just dark. The comment section is wide open. So you might want to leave a comment. Let us know you're in there. Let us know what you're talking about. All right, my old Kentucky home, as we always do, as we start off our show with paying a little homage to the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, who I'm very proud to say I'm a part of.
Yeah.
All right, Kirb, how you want to start, man? I mean, I know you had a lot go on within the sports world here in Kentucky. We can just jump right into some highlights of the. Oh no, that's too much. That's too much. What do you think about the Louisville, Kentucky game?
It was kind of what I expected in a way. It was more competitive this year than years past, which is kind of what I was wanting to see. But I just feel like that, and I've been saying this for weeks, I felt like that if Chris Rodriguez could run the ball for us, that I felt like it would be in our advantage and it'd be a long day for Louisville, and that's exactly what happened. You know, plus our defense stepped up. So they played really well. So it helped us a lot as far as that goes. But Louisville played tough. I mean, they've had a lot of injuries, and Malik Cunningham, he wasn't playing and tried to play and really didn't do nothing. And Kentucky was just kind of on. So.
I like the game plan that Louisville came out with, because in the first half it looked like it was a manageable game. I mean, after that, when Malik came in my opinion, he tried to mix things up again and he took control of the game. This is like when he first came in right here. Is a good play to Marshawn Ford, but Marshawn tripped up, or he could have been going a long way. And we'll go back to Marshawn Ford if you remind me to get back to Marshawn Ford. But I don't think, like what you said, Rodriguez got going, and it was too much. Kentucky came to play. Levis is real. The crowd, and then you got Malik doing Malik right here. That's whenever I thought we had hope. And I was actually watching the game with Eric Clark. We were at in E-Town at the pizza place in E-Town. We were watching the game.
Okay.
I was like, oh yeah, Imperelli's. But then he did this. Then Malik did this, and then it was
He did. He threw a couple of interceptions, didn't he?
We'll get to that one, I think. I think
There's that one, boy. Brown, he's a bad boy. He's only a freshman. He says that he's Big Blue Nation and he's not going anywhere. So I hope he don't.
well, you talked about earlier, I mean, off air, the transfer portal, which we'll get to. What the transfer portal is making things really. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. I like the ability for the players to be able to not get promised something that the coaches really have to deliver. But
Yeah,
but as a player, as a student athlete, you got to trust the process.
exactly. And I think that some people they feel like that maybe that they're not going to get any playing time and the depth chart or the depth in some positions is too much, so they feel like that they should be playing. So that's their way of saying, I want more playing time, so I'm gonna go somewhere else. But just because you go somewhere else doesn't mean that you're gonna get more playing time. It don't mean the grass is greener. So that's that as far as that goes. But I kind of see it, I understand it, but I wish that the NCAA would have it to where they would let the teams, if they have a bowl game especially, let that pass by before they start doing the transfer portal, not right after the regular season.
What do you say about the people who say that if the coaches can transfer and don't have to worry about to the end of the year, why do the players have to fulfill their requirements and their agreements because they're
And
a
see,
signing contract?
and I think the same way as a coach. To me, like in the NFL, if you do that in the NFL, it's tampering. If you do anything during the season, so you got to wait to the off season to do everything. The NCAA should be the exact same way. If a coach wants to leave, he's got to fulfill his obligation for that year, and then in the off season, if something happens, okay, go ahead and go. But to sit there and go through a whole season and then all of a sudden it's like right after you lose your last game within 48 hours you're going to another coach or going to another a school. I just don't agree with that at all because I don't think it's not fair to the student athletes and it's not fair to the university. You know what I mean? Especially the people that are season ticket holders that have you know put all this money up and wanted to see this product, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm just gonna bolt. I don't. I think that there needs to definitely be some re-looking into as far as all that stuff goes.
Yeah. What do you think that if the coaches should have to fulfill their agreement after the bowls or after the season? Because what I'm seeing is a lot of people after the regular season, like Deion Sanders was out, and we'll get to back to Deion Sanders, and I'll slow down too. But we're talking
Tough
about
call.
Louisville and Kentucky uh, basketball. Do you think? What's up, Brian? Do you think that Kentucky fans bait Louisville fans?
Do I think they bait Louisville fans?
Yeah, do you think that they provoke him now that we're down? Because do you think? Because like right here, look at this right here. The player throws, he chucks
Water bottle.
water bottle. Hey, that's a $20 expensive water bottle. Got everybody bottle too. He chucks.
Well, you and I have been through sports our entire life, and I just think that that's a retaliation of the whole season for Louisville. It's frustrating, and then when you got fans heckling you and stuff like
Jaw
that,
at you the whole
it,
game.
it brings that kind of stuff out into you. And I think it's a bad look for him for the university, but as a person that used to play sports, I understand, I get it. When you get somebody heckling you and saying L's down and Louisville sucks and blah blah blah. It's just like if somebody says something about your mama, what are you gonna do?
You know,
You're gonna defend mama. It's
yeah,
the same thing. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. If somebody is taunting me, if I'm losing, you know, I'm not gonna take it sitting down because that's the competitive nature in me. You know what I mean?
but do you think that it was a provokes things, but I think that you're right on it. I think you're right on it. You just answered my question. We got another comment that saying Brian says Horton, it doesn't matter. UK will never beat Louisville in football now. I put $1,000 on it. We can move to the next subject of the coaching. The coaching. Who's going to be the next we before the today we didn't know, but it looks like Jeff Brom is going to be announced tomorrow as the Louisville head football coach, and I couldn't be more proud. Couldn't be more proud to have that go on. What's your thoughts on that hire, Kirby?
I even posted on my Facebook page today that I was happy for Louisville fans. Mike Barrick, he said that I wasn't sincere about it, but I really was, because I mean, you guys have been through a lot as a fan base, and I want to see that rivalry come back to where it's competition, where it's competitive. So I mean, I thought it was a great hire. I think that just like not to jump to basketball, but people are already writing Kenny Payne off. And I think that it's unfair to him to how he's being judged right now. To me, after probably the third year, then see what he's doing. If he's still not doing anything, you have a right to that. But you're not going to come in here with the same team that struggled last year, and just because you changed the coach, now you're going to be an NCAA team. It don't work that way. And he's got to get players in there that can play his system and they can play ball, which right now he doesn't have.
The people who are cheering to see Kenny Payne go down, I don't think that they're fans. They're cheerleaders.
What's up, G. Martin?
Garen, what's up, Garen Martin? Checking in. I don't think those Louisville fans who are they're not fans. They're just cheerleaders. If they unrealistically think that Kenny Payne can turn things around like that, just like if they unrealistically think that Brom can turn things around.
Of course.
It took Mark Stoops, it took him some years to get things the way that he wanted to get them.
Yes.
Now that he has them, Kentucky is a legitimate threat. I'm not saying a powerhouse. I'm not giving them that. But they're a threat every year to go that next step. I mean, I'm not going to realistic. We can talk realistic. Rodriguez got hurt. Who knows where UK season would have went? They got hit a couple times in the mouth, but I mean, their football season wasn't that bad.
Well, as a Kentucky fan, I want to see Kentucky be in that top echelon, where, it's almost like we're expected to beat Florida. We're expected to beat LSU because we've beat them like the last 2 or 3 years. But my thing is, can we ever get to the point where we can go head up against Alabama? Can we get to the point where we go against Georgia? Now you got Texas and Oklahoma coming in there. I just don't know if Kentucky can ever get to that level, in my opinion. I mean, anything can happen. I just don't see Kentucky getting the athletes to do that, though.
Good. I mean,
I don't. I mean, and then I'm just being real. I mean, I think it would be nice if we could beat Tennessee every once in a while. Tennessee's had our number the last few years. I mean, we've been just annihilated by them. It's like everybody we can pretty much beat anybody, but we can't beat Tennessee. Vanderbilt beat us and won a conference game for the first time since Moses. And I'm just like, come on, man. What's up, Jay Hobbs?
What's up, Jay? Hey, while we're here, I guess I want to go in here while Jay's in here and give his wife a happy birthday shout out to Betsy Jeffries Hobbs. Jay often says that he married up, and I got to say you did. Awesome human being. Jay, we love you. We're going to give a community spotlight this week to Betsy Jeffrey Hobbs, who not just it's happy birthday. Let her know we said happy birthday. Yes. We love her and what she does for our community. Mm-hmm. She touches so many people, and everybody has nothing but love for her. Very proud of the job that you're doing. Look at your son.
Yes, that's amazing. I saw that. That's awesome. That is good. That's to me. That's parenting, and that's what I think Jay and Betsy do better than, or do as good as anybody, is raise their kids the right way, and it reflects in the community, and it's reflecting on them what they're doing. So, kudos to both of them. I'm glad to be friends with both of them.
Absolutely. And Jay, I know, and we haven't got a chance to talk about it, but the conversations are hard when you have a student athlete in Kentucky high school athletics, and both of our kids lost in the semifinals and really gave it their all. I know when I was talking to Cameron, I was like, I'm glad that you left everything. And we're going to get to that Male Ballard game a little bit later on. But while Jay was on here, we wanted to give a shout out and a happy birthday to Betsy Jeffries Hobbs, who Jay did marry up on. Hey,
We appreciate you too, brother.
Go Cards. Tell her I said go Cards.
L's down, baby.
So who's going to be your guys' new offensive coordinator, since we're pinning all the time on UK football right now? Who are you guys going to get as the offensive coordinator?
I'm hearing there's a guy. I just saw this earlier,
Gaduli?
Who?
Is it Gaduli?
No, it was. I want to say it's. I can't remember, but they've got this guy that Stoops is. They're talking about if they want Liam Cohen back, which he left us to go back to. I think he went to the Rams.
Yeah, right.
But
the
he's the first choice to come back.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that they're looking at they've got a running back coach in mind too. But I can't remember where he's from.
There's a Gaduli too that's from Northern Kentucky, but all the UK fans from Northern Kentucky are saying don't hire the Gaduli guy. So I don't know.
Isn't he from Cincinnati?
Yeah, he's from Highlands. He went to Highlands.
Oh, okay.
Then he went to UC. So I don't know. I mean, you guys have your hands. You guys have a good off season to prepare that, and a good transfer portal, because Deion Sanders said he's going to Colorado,
bro,
and taking his luggage with him. How do you feel about Mr. Deion Sanders leaving and going from a HBCU to a $5 million a year payday?
Well, I mean, I think that Deion, he's like he said, and I love Deion. He's one of my all-time favorite athletes. I follow him on social media and everything like that. But what I love about him is he just speaks the truth. I've seen him where he's had videos with his sons and stuff like that. And I mean, he's hard on them, and he's gotten a lot of flack, which I think is unjustified, because of the fact that he went to Jackson State and made him relevant, and then he's just like, okay, I'm gone, I'm going to Colorado. But that's what you do as a coach. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you step up. You don't. If you can do better, why not do better? And that's what he's doing. He's doing better. So now he's went from historical black college to now a D1 that used to be a powerhouse at one time, in the 90s. And now he's going to bring that back. He's going to bring that swagger back. There's going to be a lot of people that want to go there just because of Deion Sanders. So I tell you what, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me a bit if just based on how he is, if the transfer portal and just people in general, freshmen in general, that are undecided where they want to go or haven't committed somewhere,
they're going to Colorado
I
now.
promise you.
They're going to
don't be surprised next year if Colorado's actually, probably looking at looking at competing in the Pac-12 next year.
Jay's got a good point. Brian had a point about I think Deion brings an old school mentality in today's culture, which is one of you guys. Yes, I think that's awesome. He could do that. And then Jay's got a good point. I think Colorado is a bit much being in public, but that's for a closed meeting. Did anybody pay attention to the fact that Deion went to the worst place in the United States of America, the absolute worst place in the United States of America? Brian Dine is going to be yelling Yanti a lot.
What's up, Brian?
The worst place in the United States of America is arguably Jackson, Mississippi. Worst in education. Their water system's horrible. They're the highest in crime. They're the worst, absolute worst place to live in the United States of America. And he went there, got robbed. They broke into his car, robbed his car, broke into his locker room and stole his stuff out of his locker room, allegedly, because I seen a press conference on that. But then I'm hearing that his assistant moved it around. But anyways, he had a press conference on the fact that the place, it was just, and he leveled up. And nobody ever questions. And Deion went to a HBCU and then he leveled up. And they're calling him a sellout. But nobody ever questions Urban Meyer, Scott Satterfield, Luke Fickle, who was just here in UC, that powered up and went to where did he just go to? Wisconsin. Nobody says anything about these guys, these American footballers, football coaches, football aficionados. But when Deion does something that's better in himself and for his family, people try to tear him down. I think it's horrible.
Do you think that it's like a mixture, or do you think it's more like the African American community that's more on him about what he's doing?
I think it's more of the African American community that's been on him, and I think that as an African American male in the community, y'all need to back up off that man. If you're listening and if you want my 2 cents worth, Deion, get your money. You've been getting your money. You're motivating. You're changing lives, man. You're making people. You've taken a crappy situation and you turned it into something good. You fulfilled your obligation. They didn't pay you the way they should have paid you. Now go get your money, sir. Much respect.
And that, to me, not to harp on race or anything like that. But to me, the African American community, blacks, we should be like appreciative of what Deion's doing. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't have to go to, he probably could have been an assistant somewhere. He didn't have to go to Jackson State, but he did. And I mean, like I said, he put them on his back. He made them relevant. Now he's going out and he's going to D1 and he's going to do the same thing wherever he goes, because wherever Deion's gone, if you follow him from Florida State to San Francisco to Dallas, even a little stint in Atlanta, the dude, all he does is win. He's confident beyond, he's one of those guys, because I've never liked cocky people. Deion, to me, is not cocky. He just very much believes in who he is and what he can put out there, what he can produce. And I think that that's what separates him, because he's like looking at people like, there's no way this guy's going to outwork me or this guy's going to be better than me. You know what I mean? That's what I love about Deion Sanders.
Me too. And I think, Brian says primetime likes to be changed. Yeah,
100%.
And why can't that be the role models that our young children see?
100%.
So they see a man, no matter what color he is, taking care of his business, being a good steward to his community, bringing his sons along with him, both of his sons along with him, who are stepping right. I mean, I got nothing but respect for Deion Sanders, and I do believe that a lot of people who are talking trash about him are paid to do so. I believe that they're wanting to stoke the fire. The same people want to stoke the fire all the time, but it's not working here in Kentucky, baby.
It's to me, it's crazy, but he's got my support. Hell, I might even get a Colorado Buffalo jersey. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I like Deion, but I agree with Jay, especially with the speech he made in front of the media. I understand kind of where he's coming from, but then again, I think that should be like a players only thing, behind closed door thing. That's what I feel like that he should have done. Or
he's setting his precedent early, saying it's the primetime show.
Yes,
I'm bringing lights, camera, action. I'm going to bring the kids that need to get the exposure to get to the next level. And here's another thing I thought about. Nobody says anything about Calipari and how he does anything and how many millionaires has he made. He's made so many millionaires. Nobody says anything. Brian Kaufman says, FSU, Kirb, let's do the chop. But I heard also that FSU turned down Deion Sanders' initial offer to be an offensive coordinator and bring his two sons with him. He said all he wants is an offensive coordinator position, and they said no, go beat it, kick rocks.
Which is crazy to me because the fact that he went to school there, was All-American there. That's where he started at.
But as much as we don't want to bring race into it as well, that doesn't happen. You know, they're quick to give other people, but who cares? Here's where he's at now, and I'm so happy that Deion Sanders is getting that USC be prime time. James Bringers, what's up, man? Welcome.
What's up, Bringers?
Good to see you, brother. And as we're moving and we're pitching forward because we're on a time, we're still on time. Kentucky basketball, man. Is there any help for Oscar Tshiebwe?
Well, I saw something earlier, and they were talking about how the Oscar Tshiebwe was only probably playing about 85%. The new guy that we got, which was supposed to be a senior in high school this year, and I cannot remember his name, but number 33, that dude is legit. He's going to start getting a lot of playing time. He's 7 foot. I think he's beyond his years as far as like basketball skills and ability. He's going to be a wrecking machine. That dude is. So I think that he's going to be one of those guys that we can take Oscar out, get Oscar a breather, bring him in, and maybe even get better on certain things as far as like blocking shots and different things like that. I mean, that dude he's a good player.
I'm going to go with the highlights of that Michigan game, the last win, which I got to say was you finished that one as you should have.
They played a good game. I watched majority of it, and I mean, for the first time, I see that's what Tshiebwe's got to do. You got to play unselfish. Just because you got a shot, somebody might have a better shot. I know that's what Calipari preaches. Thank you, Bringers. I ain't gonna try to pronounce it, but yeah, that's him.
Okay, let's try to pronounce that, Kirb.
And then Reeves, man, that dude is
Onyoso is my thing. Onyoso.
Yes.
Uganda Onyoso.
And I love Reeves, man. That dude, he is a difference maker. If he can stay shooting like he's shooting the rest of the year, I mean, I think that we got a team that can go pretty far. Case and Wallace, I like to see Chris Livingston get a little bit more playing time. I'm not sure why he's not, but and it could be just because of the position and stuff like that. Who knows? But I like our team a lot. I think that this Michigan game was a huge game for us.
Huge.
Because the fact that it's like somebody legitimate and we actually beat them, considering we lost to Gonzaga and we also lost to Michigan State. But then if you look at those two teams, I mean, everybody's losing. You know what I'm saying?
It's the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Everybody's figuring things out.
Well, not only that, I just think it's a lot of parity in the league now, in just college basketball, period. There's a lot of parity there. So
this guy right here, that's big 7-footer. He's going to be
he's a bad boy too.
Hard to deal with around March, man. He's going to be hard to deal with. He's going to start.
Now watch this block he does.
Okay.
Good defense, but that guy's he's like Tshiebwe. He's 7 foot, but he's a quick jumper.
Second chance points.
Yeah.
Where's Fredricks, man? I mean, like, when are we going to see CJ Fredricks step up into the shooter that he was not so long ago at Iowa? We can't forget that he was one of the top shooters. What's so different about him playing for UK and him playing for Iowa? Because in Iowa, he was one of the top 3-point shooters.
Well, you got to think about it. He hadn't been playing ball in a year and a half. And then with the injury that he had and stuff like that, I just think it's more like confidence. I just think the more that he plays, the more confident he's going to get. So I'm not too much worried about him, especially if Reeves keeps shooting like he's shooting. But we're definitely going to need him down the stretch, to hit some of those shots, outside shots, especially like when you have Toppin driving, you have Wheeler driving and kicking.
Yes.
Those two guys are going to have to hit those shots. And when they hit those shots, then we're going to be hard to defend because, you know, they're going to go to like probably a zone type uh, offense or defense, and there it is. We just shut them down with that.
And James Bringer's asked, because Cal stick him in the corner and don't help him get open. I agree with that, but I like what Kirby was saying too. Garen Marcus says pressure is the way defense different. Yeah, okay, and that's a good point too. When pressure is a lot more different in UK than it is at Iowa. To go with Kirby's point before I move on with this, I agree with you, Kirby. If Wheeler can create movement to the basket and hit that mid-range jumper right there, right. I'll add this shit right here, right in the middle, right here, right there at the free throw line, and then in the corners, if you have the shooters in the corner, CJ Fredricks, and what's the other guy on the other side?
Reeves.
And then collapse, and then like you said, if he's hitting those shots, they're going to have to double team him and collapse on him, and then he's got a cool enough shot where he can double clutch and dish either way. So, and if they miss, Sheebway's in there for the rebound and put back. This was a huge win, though. That was a good win for Kentucky, especially being in London right there.
But the thing, it was in London. But the thing about Kentucky is, as good as that win was, you know, there's still improvement needs to be made. We need to make free throws. That's been an Achilles heel for us. And just like some of the defensive breakdowns, and you know, but again, it's still early in the season. It's still December, so I think that those guys come, you know, February and March, because of the teams and because of how they've played, they're going to be ready for March. Because I think that people go to UK, they go to IU, they go to Gonzaga, they go to places like that because, you know, they want to participate in March. And that's what I think Coach Cal does really well most of the time, is get us prepared for March. And I hope that because of what happened last year, that they will remember that and they'll come ready come March. But I think we got a better team this year than we did last year. We're older, we're wiser. We've got some good pieces to kind of fit in with the veterans that we have. So again, I think that sky's the limit for Kentucky. It's just a fact if they go out and they execute. So speaking of basketball, Gary, you crazy.
There's a new strain, a new variant of COVID that's just it's supposed to be right around New Year's Eve. It's only supposed to happen in Louisville, in the locker room at Louisville. It's called, I don't know what it's called. It's variant or something like that. It's like the Delta variant of COVID.
Who do y'all play next, Troy?
I don't know. Oh, I can look it up, but I don't think we got another win in us. I don't think we have a win in us, Kirb.
I thought that you all would be you know, another thing is y'all don't have no kind of depth. You know, when you start going to the bench, you ain't got nobody to put in there.
We got Hersey Miller. We got Hersey. We got Hersey, man.
Like I said, y'all ain't got nobody. That's the problem. I mean, Florida State is god awful, and they beat y'all by what, 27?
UC got beat by NKU, and we got beat by NKU. I mean, like I said, or I said 2 weeks ago, and I am prepared to say Louisville does not win a game all year. Take your shots now, Garen. I'll do the same in football. Where can transfer? He's talking about where can transfer. Hey, Lance Ware hit the transfer portal, and he said he can transfer. That's what Bringer said. No, Garen said that Lance Ware is going to hit the transfer portal.
Well, he ain't playing. Which, I mean, if it stays like that, he might. And I don't know if he's in a doghouse or what, but he's not been playing. And I mean, he's normally like the guy that comes in after Sheedway goes out. So now you got the 7-foot freshman that's coming in backing up Sheetway. So unless he's coming in for topping, that might be a thing that unfortunately might happen.
Well, you asked who we played next, and I don't know. I really don't even care. I'm just trying to get this season, get it over with. Really nothing to report for Louisville basketball. We got
Owen, baby.
Owen. We were Owen.
Damn.
So, I mean, I don't want to. I mean, I'd love to come and say to you, Kirb, I really feel like we're taking that turn for the better, and we're going to win our first game, and we're really looking a lot better. But it's not looking that way, man. I think FAMU's going to beat us. Loserville so bad that they can't. Stop, Aaron. So stop. If it's so bad that y'all can't make fun of us anymore, you just stop. I know.
Garen, the next time they play, we need to get together and cheer for them. Maybe they'll get a W.
We're reporting a big fat donut for Louisville. Hey, man, you might as well. Jay had to get off, but I wanted to move to the football 6A state championship because we had Bullitt East. Bullitt East beat Central Hardin pretty bad, and then Bullitt East had to play Bryan Station. They beat them, and then Bullitt East ended up winning. But Ballard and Male played, and it was a pretty as a parent, it was pretty crazy to see how it went down. And I've got some video, and I'll try to explain to you. And if anybody else has any comments or any commentary on how
it was heartbreaking.
Yeah, man. And talking, and then afterwards, and I have to say to my son Cameron, if you watch this or when you do watch this, I'm super proud of you and the Ballard Bruins for what the game that you played. You left it all on the field. It's a play that that'll be talked about for the rest of your lives. So cherish the moment that you were able to have that moment in Kentucky high school athletic. Brian Kaufman says you got to take the safety. And I agree because it was a bang call that Adrian Morton had. And I love Adrian Morton and what he did for the Ballard Bruins. But at some point, and you guys played football. I never played football. So I would love for you guys to explain this to me.
So
would you not trust the quarterback? If your quarterback comes to you in the huddle and it's that time and he says, all I got to do is take a knee, coach. All I got to do is right there. He's crossed the goal line right there anyway. So you want to talk about the football gods, he crossed the goal line. Did
they say he didn't have control?
Yeah, because I think they're going to say he
So at this point,
right there,
like how much was Ballard up by?
They were up by 3 points.
So I agree with Brian. Why in the world would you not take the safety?
Because if you say that, but if you're in the heat of the moment of battle and your quarterback says, all I need to do right there, there's my son Cameron, number 9, on top of it, and they're like, we're going to state. There's Cameron right there. We're going to state. He's in the mix of it because they think that they have they scored the touchdown, and they're like, no. And it's 4th down, so they're like, we're going to state. So all they have to do is kneel on the ball.
But where were they at? Well, they were like on the 1 yard line?
1 yard line, Kirb. 1 yard. They were on the 1 yard line. All they had to do.
So what were they trying to? I mean, so what happened? Was it just like So they fumbled the ball, basically what they did, and the guy picked it up and ran it in for Mel, right?
Fumbled the ball. Guy from Mel picked it up, ran it right on in. He's arguing his case that it went over because it did go over, but they knocked it out. So this shit, all they have to do is kneel on the ball. Kneel on the ball right here. All he's got to do is receive. They're on the 1 yard line, Kirb. Kneel on the ball.
Well,
look at this. What happened?
Wow.
What happened?
It looks like either.
All they had to do is. What happened? What do you think?
It looks like to me the quarterback just wasn't ready for the ball. It's almost that's what it looked like to me because I mean as soon as like he hiked the ball, it's like the quarterback just didn't have the ball.
Heads turned.
And see, watch when he hikes it.
See, right there, the ball's starting to move toward him. His head's down. All he had to do is pick it up. Or I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It's like he wasn't ready for the snap, which is crazy to me because you would think that.
And then it hit his knee or something like that, and the ball pops out. And little Corey Mattingly right over here couldn't ask for a better person for it to happen to. Sees it, picks it up,
squirts out the ball. God Almighty!
Picks it up, runs in.
Unbelievable.
Game over. Okay, but at this point, the game's still not over. There's still 20 seconds left, and everybody's going crazy. And I got to give props to my son Cameron again. He's the only player on the whole field, saying 21 seconds left. He's saying, fellas, this game ain't over. They still got to kick us the ball. He's telling his people, get your stuff together. Get your stuff together. This game is not over. Everybody's throwing their helmets down and getting all mad and going. There's a quarterback that just dropped it. And he's like, no, it's not over. We got to sit. They're got to kick us the ball one more time.
Wow.
That's, I mean, in history of watching football, man, Brian Kaufman said, snap it out of the end zone. I just want to get through that. And then I'll go into some get some real thoughts on that because this is a teachable moment, and you'll understand this because having to talk to my son after that game and say, hey, man, you left it out all on the field. He had 2 interceptions, was the lead block on every touchdown made. So he left it all out there to be able to say, hey, man, that was the craziest thing that I've ever seen in my life. But what I'm alluding to this, being a wrestler in high school, in Kentucky High School Athletic Association. Being a wrestler in Kentucky High School Athletic Association prepared us to lose. You could be prepared to win and everything like that, but it prepares you to lose. It prepares you to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to talk to my son and say, hey, man, are you prepared to not ever play football again? Because you got to get out of that moment. You got to snap yourself out of it. You got a whole career ahead of you. So how would you process that, Kirb?
I mean, it would definitely hurt, especially, like you say, you leave everything on the field and then something like a fumble, because you can, like you say, you can second guess what they did. You can second guess this and that. We shoulda, coulda, woulda, but had he held on to the snap, it would have been a different story. Had he, you never know what could have happened. They could have, like Brian said, took the safety. They could have got the onside kick. Everything could have happened. Everything happens for a reason.
Right.
And I think that, when something like this happens, I mean, it's going to bother you for a while, especially like when it's like your senior year and you've worked so hard to get to this point. It's very, there's not a lot of people that make it to the state finals or regional finals. I never made nothing like that. So, even to get to that point is amazing, in my opinion. So you have to look at everything that you've done and not make that, basically everything. Not lose everything over that one play. You know what I'm saying? Because that one play didn't lose the game.
Right.
There's a lot of things that happened probably within the game that could have done better, or, they could have made that not be the point of emphasis in the game. So it's just the fact that that's just going to be the thing that people are going to look at when they say, okay, this is how, Male beat Ballard.
Yes. And I think you said some. I mean, I try to take away also is this can't be a moment that defines your life because I can remember back whenever it was in high or 12 years old, Damon Thomas, Matt Clausen, Scott John Brown, like Lance Wheeler, Ryan Wheeler. We played on a baseball team, and Matt Clausen dropped a pop up. We were going to the little league. We're going to the next level. He dropped that pop up, and I still think about it to this day. I'm like that. Damn it, we were going. But I mean, those are things that you think about. Like I told my son, and Cameron snapped out of it because we were at my mom's house, and I was like, "There's something you got to think about." It's like you're never playing football again, man. That's it. You left it there. It's your career's over. And he was like, you had to think about it for a little bit, and then he snapped out. He's like, "Time to go run some track and win a gold medal for the United States of America." And I was like, "That's the spirit, son."
Yep.
Spirit.
You just what's like with any type of adversity you have in life or any type of things that happens in life, it's going to be one or two things. It's going to be a lesson or a blessing. So, you just got to look at it from each standpoint and, and just the biggest thing is just moving forward from it, not staying still, not going backwards. It's not going to change. It's not going to change it. Just use it as a learning tool and, move forward.
Appreciate that, Brian. Brian said that's a Horton for you. That's right, guys.
Yes, sir.
Stop
100%.
it. Pivoting, we got 15 more minutes, and we can dedicate some of it to some playoff contention. And this week coming up, we've got a game coming. We've got Houston, Texas versus Dallas Cowboys. Is that coming up this week, or is that the
that's this week? Trap game.
Trap game?
Trap game, man. We got to play. We got to come in. I thought the same thing about the Colts, but I mean, we absolutely annihilated the Colts. And to put 33 points on an NFL team in the fourth quarter alone, that is balling. I mean, I don't care who you playing. That is absolutely balling. So I don't think that we're going to have a letdown against Houston. I think these guys are focused. They know that, we got the Eagles coming up in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's
going to be which is going to be on our field this time.
Paybacks.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Y'all doing something until y'all ran into the Eagles. The Eagles went.
It's going to be a battle. So I'm looking forward to it. I just wish the Eagles would lose a game between now and then, but I don't really see them losing. I don't think they'll lose a game until they get to us.
On all cylinders, I couldn't agree more. Their defense is playing good. I mean, but you got Micah Parsons, man. He's a freak.
That dude is an absolute freak. And, Jerry Jones is going to have to break the bank to pay him and Diggs because we got to keep both of those guys. But I love the way Dallas is playing right now. I like the way CeeDee Lamb has stepped up. He's looking like that number one receiver that we knew that Jerry Jones thought he would turn into. And, with Pollard and Elliott, I love that 1-2 punch. And I think because of the wear and tear that you have on running backs, I think that if you look at a lot of the teams that are playing right now, they do have, a good 1-2 punch running back. And I think that we've got one of the top ones.
How will Jerry Jones? That's what Bringers and they said Jerry Jones is going to mess it up. How can Jerry Jones mess it up? Can you speak on that? He said, how do you mess it up,
bro? Garen, I think I don't agree with that at all. I think that we're going to beat the Eagles. I'm telling you. I mean, if we play like we're playing right now, the only thing that team is gaining is confidence. And then with everything that happened after that game, where their coach basically said "F you" to the Cowboys and all this other stuff, man. I mean, you talking about bulletin board material. That is going to be an absolute war when we play them.
I believe it.
Absolute war. And I mean, the thing about it is the way the playoff things are seeded, there's a good possibility that we could actually even play them like in the second round of playoffs. because I think because the NFC South is absolutely terrible, but looks like Tampa Bay might win that division. I think Tampa Bay will win that division. There's a possibility that we would actually play Tampa Bay at Tampa Bay because we would be a wild card, even though we have a better record. But Tampa Bay did beat us early in the year, and then probably the winner of that game would play Philly. So I mean, that's one of the scenarios that could happen, but it's still early, so a lot of things can change. But I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
Speaking of the rest of the season over here on the AFC side of the game, we've got the Bengals versus the Cleveland Browns coming up. Cleveland Browns are coming. I think they're coming off of something, but it doesn't matter. That in Cincinnati, we got a saying: if it's brown, flush it down. So that's what we're coming to do. Joe Burrows is the man. Did you see how he took Mahomes last week? Finding his receivers on a dime. There's he at the Higgins right there on a dime.
And if you notice what's happening with Burrow now, I mean, I'm not no expert or anything like that, but just watching how he's playing now, he's not holding the ball as long. And I think that's helping him as far as like not getting sacked and stuff like that.
That's a good point.
He's helping himself by getting that ball out quicker. They're playing like I thought they would play because I felt like that the Bengals, because of the fact that they were, in the Super Bowl last year, I was like, why wouldn't they not go back this year? But Buffalo's but Buffalo's playing good now. Kansas City's always going to be a threat. But the fact that Cincinnati beat them, that's confidence right there.
It's hard to go back to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row, though. I mean, that's a tough thing to do. And Cleveland, I think they're bringing Deshaun Watson in this week to play. So despite all the hate going on with Deshaun Watson, he's still a good quarterback. I mean, but I don't think that the Browns are going to be able to come into the Cincinnati and
no. So because it's one thing to. It's one thing to. I think that just the fact that he's been sitting out for so long, you got to get in what they call game shape, and within just he's only played 2 weeks, so their running games they have to rely on their running game. Cincinnati's got a pretty good run defense, so I don't see the Browns coming in there beating Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's going to handle business.
Those massage parlors in Cincinnati.
Hilarious.
Was that Deshaun Watson? Oh yeah,
man, bro.
I thought he was getting them to come to his house, though, man. I mean, even if he was, man, that's some crazy.
That's crazy. I mean, for I don't know. That's that whole scenario is just insane to me. And then get rewarded with a $200 some million contract.
I mean, he said that he wanted to get out of Texas. So I heard that they came up with this lawsuit to ping him. I mean, but that's what they do. I mean, but you got to be careful. You can't let nobody Bill Cosby. You got to stay on top of your game at all. You got to stay on top.
Well, that's the thing that I've always said about professional athletes. They always, people always talk about you got to forget you can't forget where you come from. I mean, I get that, but then when you reach a certain level to where you're no longer like the 99%, you're like a 1%er, you do have to separate yourself. Because, I mean, you don't forget where you come from, but you ain't like the other 99 that's going out and working, 9 to 5 or, making 100,000 or less thousand a year or something like that. I mean, you're making millions a year. So what do you think people are going to do to you? You're a target.
You're a cash grab everywhere.
Yeah. So basically so that's, a lot of people don't like LeBron James, but I can honestly say that's one thing that I admire about that dude. He's with the same girl he's been with since high school. He's got one baby mama. You know, you don't ever hear him getting in any trouble because he goes home. You know, he don't go to these nightclubs and different stuff like that.
Right.
When as an athlete, you can't do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to separate yourself and know your surroundings because somebody's always out for a payday. Just look the other day at a CVS, I think in California somewhere, some dudes like a customer was like antagonizing Terrell Owens,
Oh wow.
and To like cold cocks to do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even though it's self defense, what do you think's gonna happen?
Got him now. My neck and my back. He's
Yeah,
gonna be
he's
like
gonna go after him.
hell on Friday. He's like my neck and my back.
Or like the dude on the airplane when he was messing with Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh.
I mean, people are crazy. You gotta change things up. You know, you can't be the same. Don't forget where you come from, but you know, don't forget where you're at either. You know what I mean?
There's plenty of people that move around in the league, and especially in the NFL, they prepare you. They prepare you for all these things. And when you're new entry players, the NFL Players Association, the Players League, they take you through these classes of what you got to look out for and things like that. So there's really no excuse. And I've seen plenty of NFL players, plenty that move correctly, that hire drivers, that have security, that do things and they move a certain way that they're not going to ever be messed with. We got 3 minutes left. Tyson's net worth ain't large.
Gary, you crazy.
That is funny, man. Like, no, I'll stay poor. I'll stay poor with all my brains intact.
Oh my, that was a good one.
For our last community spotlight, gotta give a happy birthday to our good friend Casey Fields' beautiful wife, Susan Fields.
Yep.
Great people in Hardin County. Casey is a pillar to the community. I remember when Casey lived across the street from, we go to his house before school at Central Hardin, go over across his house, go swimming and just chill out. And went to West Hardin, played, and his wife is beautiful soul, beautiful person. And just want to say happy birthday to you too, Susan.
Yep. Happy birthday, Suze.
Well, Kirb, man, another great show, man.
I agree.
Man, I mean, we covered a lot of ground. Anything we missed? You want to?
I don't think we did. I mean, it was all about UK, which is good because ain't nothing to talk about with Louisville. So,
well, we don't have anything to talk about right now. But I mean, it's not. Oh, one thing that you brought to my attention earlier today. Love you too, Garen, man. Thank you for tuning in, brother. That's
yes,
awesome.
sir. Love you, bro.
Denny Crum goes out to
Yes.
our thoughts and prayers to everybody that watches our programming from here, or watch it now, watch it later. Keep Denny Crum and his family in your prayers. Great community advocate, legend, Cardinal legend, Kentucky legend, Kentucky.
Yes.
So I mean,
I agree with that.
in our prayers, man.
Thanks, James. Love you too, bro. Yes, sir. Cough.
Braum. Hey, we talked about Braum a little bit earlier. I know he got drowned because I'm not trying to set him up for the hate though, Brangers. I'm not saying, oh, it's time we're gonna have Jeff Braum, and then he goes out there and we Kenny Payne's it. No, we got some time. Brian, love you, man. Love you.
Hey, but but not to get on that right before we get off here, but I mean that's what people's expectations are. They think that this guy's a hometown hero and he's gonna come in and he's gonna save the day. But if you look at his record at Purdue, I mean he was only like 4 or 5 games over 500 in his whole tenure at Purdue. So
he was just waiting his time.
Oh yeah, 100%.
At Purdue, he was just waiting his time for this particular moment in time for UC to come through and swoop in Satterfield, take him off our hands so we don't have to pay him, and then we could offer Braum the money. It all worked out. The football gods from Kentucky were down. He's never has won it. Brian, you're now you Purdue. Well, that's our time, fellas. We'll be back next week with more of Kirb and Hort's Wednesday Night Sports. Peace out, guys.